Ooh, I am live. Hello, YouTube land. Ooh, I just got off another show, so I feel like I look rough right now. I'll wait for a few people to come in. This story time is crazy. I'm dressed scandalous. Because I'm not even gonna say I'm dressed scandalous. I'm dressed sexy because of the story that I'm telling. Just got off another show. My character was attacked because of how I was dressed and how my views on women and their sexuality. So I will definitely talk about that on another show, but I'll get started in a few minutes. I hope everybody is feeling well. I love doing these story times. Um yeah, so I'll wait for a few more minutes. Not doing it on Facebook because I want the views in YouTube. If I'm gonna talk about these scandalous things, well, not scandalous, but these very risque things, I'd rather get the views in YouTube versus Facebook. I want to get views, and Facebook is not paying me no money. YouTube will. So, but yeah. So again, my name is Candace. Welcome to the Candy Shop. This is my story time, and this one is titled "He Gave Me His Ex's Tiffany's Bracelet." So where do I begin? So years ago, this was after I divorced my first husband. And just a little disclaimer. And sorry, I keep messing with my hair. I feel like it's out of place. But just a little disclaimer. My current husband, my the love of my life, he's okay with me telling these stories. He's the one that suggested the story. We are very transparent with each other. We know a lot of what has gone down with each other. So this is why he's okay with it. And hey, Kenny, yeah, so this one is gonna be crazy. And no, you don't need to leave. It's still gonna be risque, but no, you don't need to leave. So years ago, I was living in Texas. For those that know me, when I finished college, I moved to Texas. That's where most of my family is from. And actually, my cousin Kenny is in Texas as well. And I hope to move back eventually. Me and my husband are planning to move back, but it's gonna take some time. So, anyways, Hey, Hannah. We were at Papados, me and some of my coworkers. I worked in sales. We were at Papados in Arlington. I don't know how many of you in Texas are familiar with the Papados in Arlington, but that's where we were. So we just chopping it up. Yeah, Hannah. We're just chopping it up at Papados, eating our food. I think my favorite food is the pasta Mardi Gras. So I'm just eating my food. This random guy walks up to us and he's like, "Hey," he was like, what's your name? I've been watching you from across the room." And in my mind I'm thinking, here we go with this. Here we go with this lame ass game. And sorry guys, but when y'all start that whole I've been watching you from across the room, or I've been thinking about you and all this other stuff, it does sound lame. So he was like, "I've been watching you from across the room. Can I sit with you?" I was like, "Okay, it's cool. We were just having drinks or whatever. I'm here with my coworkers. Yeah, you can have a seat." And so he starts to talk about how he's a car salesman and he just likes to meet new people. And of course, he tried to sell me in a car. My daughter is coming out here. He asked me, was I in the market to buy a car? And I told him no. And so, anyways, we exchanged numbers. And so we kind of hit it off because he was actually nice. He had on a suit in Papados. And Papados at that time in Arlington was the place that young Black professionals hung out at. And so not only was he there, but it was like a lot of nice looking men there. He necessarily was not my type, but he was not bad looking. I will say that. And so I ended up talking to him. We talked for a few days and we decided to link up again. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with Boomer Jacks in Arlington, but Boomer Jacks usually has a lot of specials. So I decided to meet up with him at Boomer Jacks. So we meet up and we click. Like we just get to it. Like, I don't know. We just seemed like we meshed well. He wasn't judgmental. And I'm the type of girl, at times I can be, I'm not gonna say I'm insecure, but a lot of times I'm a very down to earth female. And so I need somebody that can meet me at that. I can't deal with the wine and cheese type of people. And hold on for a second. Taylor, close that door. I don't know if y'all can hear me. My computer's acting crazy, but I was saying I like a down to earth type of guy. Me being from the Midwest, I love a down to earth type of guy. I can't do bougie guys. I don't like those corporate guys, even though I'm a corporate woman. And I'm not saying I want a thug either, but I want a guy that I'm here with. Like we both grew up kind of the same way. We like kind of the same things, and it won't be crazy. And yes, Kenny Boomer Jacks is the bomb, especially when I was living there on Tuesdays, they had 29-cent wings and $2 Crown and Down. That was my spot. And hey, Canaan. But me and him were at Boomer Jacks, we hit it off. So he's like, I want you to come with me. At this time, I don't know, and it was crazy is when I go to Texas, 183 still has construction. But at that time, 10 years ago, 183 was going through construction. And so we're driving on 183. He's like, I want you to come with me to get this. I want you to get this tattoo. I'm going to pay for you to get a tattoo too. And this was shortly after I had gotten my tattoo. And for those that have not heard my tattoo story, make sure you go ahead and watch. Make sure you also like, share, and subscribe as well. But he was like, I want to pay for you to get a tattoo. I'm going to this guy. He does awesome tattoos. I want you to come with me. And so, oh, Hannah, exactly. I like the corporate thug. That's what describes the type of guy I like. So I go with him to get his tattoo. I don't get a tattoo because at this time, I had just gotten my first tattoo, and the only thing I wanted was a flower vine to connect to the tattoo, but I didn't feel like my stomach was flat enough. So I was like, no, I don't want a tattoo. So we get a tattoo. Then he's like, or so he gets a tattoo. Then he's like, "Oh, you so cool." So whatever, we talk a little more. So a few days later, we hang out again, and he's like, "You know what? I want to smoke something. I'm not gonna say what he smoked. He was like, I want to smoke something. I want to meet up with you. You seem pretty chill. You cool or whatever. We should link up again." So I'm like, "Okay, cool." So he goes. He was like, "But I'm gonna get some, some loud, and I'm gonna come over." So he goes and gets the loud, and he comes over. And at this time, I had just moved into my apartment, and I was living in Grand Prairie at the time, close to Arlington still, but it was technically Grand Prairie. So he comes over. I'm not gonna lie, I I got into some of the loud. I'm not gonna lie, and y'all better not report this. But I was feeling good, and I was like, hey, I'm feeling real nice. So this guy, like I said before, he was the first guy I dated after my divorce was finalized from my husband. So in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm not married anymore. It's been like almost a year since I've been with somebody. So what up? So we go into the bedroom and do the damn thing to the point where the bed breaks. And I'm sorry because this is still hilarious to me. And my husband is okay with me telling this story because he laughs at it too. So, but we go all the way in. It is wonderful, and I think the loud plays some part in it. And I could just be myself, and of course, there was protection, but I could be myself. I can let go. I can let my hair down, and it was wonderful. So the next day, he's blowing my phone up. Like I'm at work, he's blowing my phone up. I'm like, oh my God, what does he want? Like, it's good. He's blowing my phone up. I gotta see you again. I gotta see you again. So we meet up again at Boomer Jacks. He brings this Tiffany's bracelet, but it's not in a box. It's in his hand. And so he's like, here, I bought you a bracelet. And I was like, oh, that is so nice. And so when I look at it, I'm like, wait a minute. I was like, the charm is all raggedy. I didn't tell him that, but the charm was kind of scratched up. And so oh, I'm thinking, let me put up a comment. Oh, Kitty, you can stay. But he brings me this Tiffany's bracelet. And so he was like, I just like you a lot. And, at this time in my life, I had just gotten out of the divorce. So I'm not trying to be nobody woman. I was just trying to have a good time. I'm just trying to have fun. I'm sorry. Haven't had that many people in my life. So this is the first time I've actually been single because I was married at a young age, well, engaged at a young age. Got with my first husband when I was 19. So I've never gotten to experience having an actual single life as an adult. And so I got with this guy. I'm like, I'm just trying to have fun. He giving me bracelets and all. So I put on the bracelet. I go to goddamn work, and they're like, I tell them the story about the bracelet. They're like, that bracelet is kind of like scratched up. Where do you get that from? And I was like, I don't know. I don't know. And it, like the charm on it, like the bracelet was still in really good condition, but the charm did not look shiny. It looked scratched. And you know, with a Tiffany's bracelet, like it's if it's new, it's in like mint condition. And so I'm like, I don't know. I'm wearing a little bracelet or whatever. And so I'm like, this guy, I don't first of all, I don't like the people that try to buy me. And secondly, you're gonna have to come harder than a used Tiffany's bracelet to get me. And so at this point, exactly, Hannah. At this point, I'm like, I don't know if I want to deal with him again because he brought me this used bracelet. Clearly, it comes from somebody that he used to date. I never asked him, but it came. It was you could tell it was used. Like people like the people that in my circle that I told about, they was like, "Oh, that looked like that was his bracelet. Are you sure it wasn't his daughter's bracelet?" I was like, "I would hope he wouldn't be that trifling and give me his daughter's bracelet." So I'm assuming it was his ex bracelet, but I could tell it was definitely used. But anyways, like he would call me and I straight up ghosted him. I was done. And what was funny is 6 months after like I ghosted him, I ran into him again at Boomer Jacks. And he was like, he was with another girl. And as soon as he saw me, he got up with the girl and ran away. He was like, "Oh, we need to sit somewhere else." But I was, for one, I was happy that he was with another girl. Two, I was, like I said, I was not trying to be in a relationship. So this so-called bracelet, because my sister asked me that I still have the bracelet. No, I don't have the bracelet. When I moved to Georgia, I think the bracelet fell on my couch. And so when the movers picked up the couch, the bracelet fell out of the couch and I just never picked it up. Like it was no value to me, even though it was a Tiffany's bracelet, it was used. It was to me a little raggedy. So I just let the bracelet go. So I don't have the bracelet anymore. Um, but that was my story. That was my story time. No, she did. I kept Hannah. I had the bracelet. He never asked for it back. He gave it to me, and that was the end of it. I just ghosted him after he gave me the bracelet. So I would wear it from time to time. It was cute. I'm gonna post a picture. I'm gonna post a picture on my Instagram with the bracelet on because I have a couple of pictures with the bracelet on. So I'm gonna post a picture of it, but I ended up losing it. And I didn't care that much for it because it was one of those, I don't know, I forgot what they call it, but I think the bracelet was only like a $200 bracelet anyway. So it wasn't like this expensive bracelet. Yes, Kenny. He was definitely lame. And that is why I started dating my husband because every guy that I ran into in Texas was like lame. I have a story time of a guy that I met like a few months later. He was a district manager for Walmart. I'm gonna tell that too. But he was lame. So I'm in Georgia, one because of my husband, but two, I was just so over Texas and all the lame-os that I was dealing with. Like that guy right there, I made sure I blocked him out of my phone, but he blew my phone up. Like he was so mesmerized by that first night. But the thing was, I was under the influence and I just let go that night. But that did not mean that I was trying to be with him. I was not trying to, it wasn't going nowhere for me. I wasn't looking for nothing. But clearly he was, and he got played and he was not having it. And he tried to bring the bracelet for me to stay, but I was like, no, this is used. This looks like it belonged to somebody else. So clearly he must have took that bracelet from somebody else. Or maybe, even though I'm assuming it's an ex's, he was a car salesman. So he could have found it in a car that somebody traded in. We'll never know. But I don't even know where that goddamn bracelet is now because when the movers moved my couch, it fell outside. So and I just let it fall. That's the end of that story. I hope I hope you all enjoyed it. And yes, honey, it did allow me to meet my husband. I am very happy I'm with my husband now. So that was my story time. Next week, I have to decide whether or not I want to tell this story because this story is the one that I'm going to tell next week. It is very crazy. I have to talk with the person involved to make sure that it is okay that I tell this story. But thank you all for watching. Yes. Yes, Kenny, the bracelet was Tafoni's. Yes. But thank you all for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Don't be out here getting these Tafoni bracelets. Get the real thing. And when you have fun, just have fun. No judgment here. This is a no judgment zone. Hopefully, I hope to have other people that tell their story times, because I'm sooner or later I'm gonna run out of stories. I don't have a million stories to tell. But thank you for watching. Oh, Hannah. Yes. So I will talk to you all later.